Wow. Oh, goodness. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Also, I do find it funny how Stream Elements is like, I'm now live streaming Destiny 2 prep for Renegades. Hope you all are doing well today. I started my day off with a migraine, so that was pretty great. I did some behind the scenes stuff yesterday and today to kind of update the stream feel. It's not much. You may notice alerts are back. Hopefully, the issue is fixed. You guys can use the alerts without causing that weird loop we had the last time I had them activated. Um, so yeah, we should be good to go. So some of the changes I made are I added some more pictures to the BRB screen. It's not you won't see them right off the rip, but we got some more here. Let me actually just go ahead and get into the channel so my little foogie's up. I forgot that's my interlude for that. So we got some more pictures added into the background. I think one just panned by. So we got some more pictures there in the BRB screen. I did update the just chatting screen slightly. So now you get to see the main display capture. Wow. We are here. So if I just go over to just chatting real quick, you'll see I added the main screen here. And I moved some stuff around because when I have my webcam on, it's in the top corner where the where the logo used to be that I basically drawn and paint. Which actually is kind of nice to be able to do that because that's one of the things where it's like I feel like it gives the channel just a little bit more personality or something like that. Also, I apologize. I'm a little nasally right now. So that's a little annoying, but from there, I didn't update the end screen. I made some other screens for when I start doing more recordings. Hopefully, at some point, that will be something we can do. And as you can kind of see, you're getting a preview of what my Warlock's going to look like going into Renegades. I'm kind of going for like an old Jedi Knight look. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but speaking of that, let's just go ahead and get into the game screen here. I did clean it up just a little bit. It's not terribly much, but to the keen-eyed viewers, I think you'll notice that there are two things removed from here. Going back over the last couple days and looking over the VODs on my YouTube channel, the ones that I'm getting ready to upload to paste, that's not the right word. Jeez, I'm not able to talk today at all. I'm telling you, man, migraines reset your IQ down to like 10, it feels like sometimes when you get them. I basically went in and removed the goals here. I'm gonna have them be associated with a command at some point. So if you want to see how we're doing on goals, it will bring up a scene that has the picture of what we're currently at on our goals because we're going to be introducing a new goal here before too long. We're going to be doing a Discord goal that's probably going to start next. We're going to start that during Christmas break because I'll be streaming a lot more during then. I'll have more time to actually work on the Discord, as it were, to get that ready to go for people to join in. I need some recommendations on like what bots to have, what things of that nature, so that way then we don't have the issue of, well, it's not necessarily an issue of like people joining in just to like promote, because I do want to have a system in there for people that are looking for, like, they want to do art, they want to do, advertise themselves, put in recommendations. Like, I'll have like everything that I use for my stream setup is in there right now. Like Firebot is something I use, OBS, all those other fun links, including like what I use as my mod manager is in there. It's R2, it's our, mod man. the Risk Green 2 one that also is a part of Thunderstore. So we'll have that as links available in there, along with like the Fugi Tech React thing that you see here, like my little Takua with the Xbox One controller. Um, Other than that, I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I know I probably said that the other day when I was doing my rant slash talk about what I want to do for Destiny 2, or rather, Destiny 3, what they need to improve upon, what they need to change. I'm going to do more of that at some point, but I think I'm going to kind of do it a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? More professionally done versus just me ranting and raving about like the things I want changed, like how I talked about the weapons and the armor and the subclass, all that stuff. I have taken time to think about them more, so we'll be looking into that. The only thing I forgot to update that I wanted to do was the announcement time that Edbot does, which I guess I could like go in and like fix that now because the auto welcome and all that stuff is. I mean, the lurker notice isn't too bad, but like the socials and the auto notice, I feel like they're still too long. So I might just make them all like a flat, like 600, 630, 660. So then they should all like just hop off of each other at that time. But we'll see. We'll give it another stream like this, and then if it ends up being too much, still we'll change them accordingly. A friend of mine brought them up that they seem to be popping up too much. So, but I mean, it is like 6 minute interval and stuff like that. So, well, 6 minute intervals. That's not technically right. I'd have to do the math again to make sure. But anyways, so enough of that. Um, we also added a new command. I don't know if you can see it in the chat, but if you type in "Hi Edbot," you'll say hi. So that's pretty cool. We got that. It's only one canned message right now. At some point, I will be going in to add more things that he will say out of random intervals, so it's not just the same message. But I mean, he is just a bot that I program completely myself, outside of like the custom things that Firebot already has built into him. So we won't be able to like have him be truly autonomous as others would like. So yeah, this is going to be the look going into Renegades. I'm probably going to choose a different ghost shell yet. I'm not sure if I want to keep the Harpy or anything else. The ship is still probably going to be this one. I'm the Platinum Starling. I really like this ship a lot. The other ship I might do is Colonel's Lament, because that kind of does have like that. It's gonna be a terrible way of saying it, but like that great value brand Star Wars look to it. But yeah, no, that's nice. So yeah, we'll see about changing some of this stuff up. Other than that, we're gonna do some prep, which realistically is just trying to get some of the final stuff done that I need to do to like there's gonna be some things in the journey I'm not gonna be able to do because I'm not skilled enough to do some of that stuff solo. Like I don't think I can do a Grandmaster. The last two Grandmasters I gotta do solo, which is the Spire, Savathun's Spire, and Fickrel's Castle, the exotic mission, and then the specific match made activity from Season of the Witch. We'll probably try to get this one done with the Extinction modifier on. Also, I'm not sure how long I'm going to stream today. And if you are curious about the drip, we are currently running this. The only thing in here that is true to like I did pay for it with silver was the helium reactor robes, which is the only piece of drip here that is from the cash shop. The rest is like this was a battle pass acquisition. I'm using the Black Armory shader from Black Armory expansion because I really like the sheen that the white has with it. Makes the visor blue, which is nice because that kind of ties in with the cryptic, the Deepstone Crypt Raid shader there. And then the slate blue lines kind of give it like that. Oh yeah, he has an energy shield projector on. And then just With the gloves, it's also using cryptic insignia along with the robes. And then the boots, I'm using Bitter Pearl on, which is from Vault of Glass, arguably my favorite raid in Destiny 2, despite how easy it is. I have a thing for liking the first ever thing in a video game series or whatever. Like, I love Dishonored. I love Halo Combat Evolved. Vault of Glass is my favorite raid. It's also like a really good way to like introduce people into raiding because it teaches you the very basic things you need to know about a raid in order to like get a feel for it. But yeah, so this is my Warlock strip going into it. I'm kind of going for like that old Jedi Temple Guard look, which I know I could do better with because there's other shaders. It would be more like a golden white appearance, but I just like blue more so. Even though that doesn't really look bad there. Using that. But the problem is if I use that in the robes, you see how it like adds all that extra yellow in? Which isn't bad, it's just not what I'm after. But I may end up rocking that, honestly, because that does look good. That does look really, really good. Yeah. Half my time playing this game recently has just been like dressing up my dolls for what I want them to be. Give that the yellow light, that ain't half bad either. But yeah, we'll actually get into the game here. So for prep, what we're doing basically is I'm not going to be able to probably get to 500 today, which would 500, which would be the one goal I would actually honestly have, because I would need to get all the different drops to be to get there. I need to gain 5 levels, which is according to Destiny 2 Power Bar, which I have up here. I would need gloves and armor first, and then everything else. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, get into what we're going to do. So for those who've never properly done bounty prep before, basically all we're doing is we're going to be going in and setting up some weekly bounties that are available to kind of give us a little bit of an XP boost into the next season. There's not many I could feasibly do that would really realistically help me get a ton of levels, but essentially what I'm wanting to do is on my character, this right here, I'm just wanting to get at least some anti-champion mods, because I'm pretty sure we're going to run into some champions maybe in the campaign. I've purposely been avoiding as many of the like the campaign mission stuff as possible, because I kind of want to go into it without knowing what the first mission's like, because I feel like that's going to be part of the reason why Renegades will either pop off or not. Will kind of depend on that. From what I'm hearing, though, it's going to definitely be one of those things where it's just like, oh, you'll see. So we need to do some weekly bounties, which we got a couple we can do. We can't really do the Dares of Eternity, I don't think. I mean, we could, but I don't know if we're going to have the people available to do that. So we're going to start with Dreaming City, because there's at least a couple from Petra we can do real quick. So we're going to do that. We're going to get those weekly quests, and then we'll keep going through, because there's some on Cosmodrome we can do, which is pretty tedious. I think they're the only destination locale one that's not going away. Actually kind of curious about something here. Insignia. Wait a second. I went too far. It's been so long. There it is. Oh, it does that, like, teal blue. Okay. Which isn't bad. Hey, Petra. What you got for me?
Glad to see you're still in the fight.
Blindwell.
It'll serve you well.
Do a couple of these. Kill. Chamber Starlight. Like Breaker.
It'll serve you well.
To help this guy out. Where's the ball? Look at that. We also probably need to max out our glimmer count again, too. Let's see here. It's one material node. But yeah. I hope you guys are... I'm not going to say whelmed or ready for what is going to be Renegades. I'm only hesitant because it does kind of dictate the future of how half the expansion cycle is going to go for Destiny, in the sense of, like, what we're going to expect out of, like, the full rotation of the year of content. Because essentially, you know, we got one main expansion and then, like, a themed expansion. And so my worry is that even though we're going to be getting, you know, expansions essentially on the daily, we're still going to have to worry about, like, it being tied into a theme. And how much is that theme going to influence, like, how the game feels? Because one of the things I fear is, depending on which ones we get and which ones we do, is going to really boil down to, like, how the game feels after it. Because, like, an example would be, like, we're getting a bunch of Star Wars-based gear in the Star Wars expansion, which, yeah, makes sense. But then it's also, like, we're doing a bunch of... Oh, I need to do patrols, too, don't I? Bye, Skimmer. Yeah, we gotta do a bunch of patrols, but then it's also like, because imagine if we get, like, as crazy cool as it would be to get, like, some Warhammer 40k drip in this game, it's something that causes me to, like, bring pause to how that would look in Destiny 2 terms. Like, yeah, admittedly, it's really cool, don't get me wrong, but it's also one of those things where it's like, part of the magic that is 40k is the fact that it is 40k and not just, like, something put into another game for the sake of being put into another game. Like, without being, like, an homage or a nod to what that game is. Because, like, you know, what would be the forces of chaos in, you know, Destiny? What would be, you know, what would be considered, like, the Emperor's good blessing, you know? Like, that wouldn't be heretical. And that's kind of one of those areas where, you know, if you know stuff about Warhammer, and you're not just a novice like me, you'd probably think of those things pretty quickly and be like, yeah, that'd be really cool, you know? We could give bolters as a weapon archetype, or give, you know, Space Marine armor to the Guardians, you know, have, like, Titans be, like, freaking Space Marines, and Warlocks being, like, Inquisitors, and, like, Hunters being the Cadian 8th or whatever. But the problem with a lot of that stuff, though, still kind of stems to the fact that it's like, well, if we do that, then, well, we're kind of shoehorned into, like, those specific things, and then we gotta, like, you know, so then it's like, well, what would be an analog to the Tyranids? Or what would be an analog to the, you know, like, the Chaos, or... And, you know, that, I mean, Vex would be Necron, obviously, but it's also, like, the story, like, we just would be doing... We've just done Vex stuff 2 seasons in a row, basically. Why would we want to keep doing Vex stuff, you know? So, it's one of those things where it's like, how do you... And then, on top of that all, too, it's like, well, now, shoot, we gotta have it where, sorry. So then it's like, well, how do we make the story mesh still with progressing Destiny 2 story forward, while also being something related to the 40k, right? And it's like, how on earth do you even begin to please 40k fans with Destiny? Where it's like, in reality, it's like, I doubt there are 40k fans that are all, like, diehard 40k fans that are going to see Destiny 2 and be like, yes, this makes sense for Destiny or my Warhammer. And Games Workshop is also very strict with how you use their IP and stuff, I would assume, given how strict they are about like fan animations and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where it's like I think about it and it's like, well, it would be cool, but how on earth do you even begin to balance that out in a way that's fitting to both progressing the story of Destiny on top of also tying it into the current Fate saga, where it's like the Star Wars stuff, as much as it is to my chagrin, it actually still kind of makes sense in Destiny's storytelling, whereas like something like 40K won't really. I don't know if I'm eloquating my point well enough, but that's kind of the struggle. Or it's like Astrocross's video today he put out, where it's like, I only seen the thumbnail because, you know, my brief stint of YouTube was just eating lunch and looking up something on there to watch, and by the time I was like, oh yeah, he put a video up, I realized, yeah, I should probably stream today. It's been a couple days. And now I'm like breaking my variety rule because I'm going to be doing like 3 Destiny streams in a row. Because I do plan on doing the Edge of Fate live. I'm going to be doing that campaign, Edge of Fate, freaking Renegades live. I'm going to be doing Renegades live, so it's, you know, I'm going to be doing that. So, and one of the things he talked about was Lord of the Rings. And it's like, Lord of the Rings would be sick. I mean, you have enough analogs that you could use in Destiny to kind of fill in the roles of, like, what the things are. It's just really funny to see that, like, Scorn are going to be your analog to the Orcs and Urukai and all that stuff. But, I mean, the drip would be freaking phenomenal. Like, making your Hunter stuff look like Rohirrim, making Titans look like Gondorian, Warlocks being basically just wizards as they are my beloved. Okay, I do need to figure out, though, where we go for the Ascendant Plane. Let's see here. I think I still got that tab open. Shout out to Destiny or Today in Destiny. There it is. Shout out to that, because that thing helps me catch it back up with a lot of stuff in here. Forsaken. Is it the Garrison? It is Garrison. Oh, it is this one. Okay, cool. It's my picture of Queen's Foil. Should be. Yep. Yeah, this one's really annoying. It's only annoying because if you get booped off, then it's like, oh, I gotta do the whole thing again. But yeah, no, it's this one, so we're gonna run this way. I know everyone and their brother talks about how much they liked Forsaken as an expansion, because like all the things it did good for the game, like having the before I forget, I should probably put my OBS back on top there. All the things it did good for the game as far as like quality of life stuff, bringing back the other things like having the special ammo weapon system come back, you know, having weapons in every slot that you can, like, if you want to run triple shotguns, you can, stuff like that. I do think that was a really good system that they implemented. Part of me just kind of wishes that they, like, didn't have to do that in Destiny 2, just launch like that, because it makes me think about, like, how much other stuff they could have put into Destiny 2 at launch, you know, at Forsaken launch. Because there's so much about the Forsaken stuff that I love, content-wise. There's some things, obviously, that do grind my gears about this expansion, because it's like the biggest plot point of Forsaken was spoiled in the beginning of the expansion through commercials, you know, Kate's death being one of them. And then also, like, the twist of it all, you know, the twist of, like, Riven being the main major bad guy was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I really liked the idea of having to deal with an Ahamkara as, like, a raid boss. I still think that is one of the coolest things that this game has ever done in terms of lore. But it's also one of those things, though, too, where it's like, if we would have had, less time developed on backtracking from Destiny 1, or back to, like, what Destiny's 1 status quo was, how much further would we have been along in Destiny 2 by now? You know what I mean? Like, not backtracking to the detriment of, like, oh yeah, we're changing the weapon system back, but, like, if we had the Destiny 1 weapon system available to us from the beginning, that'd be less dev time needed to be spent working on that, and we could have got more stuff for Forsaken. And then, who knows how the other expansions would have went after that, But I digress. But no, like, I love the aesthetic of the Dreaming City. I think it's one of the best that they have ever made. I also really enjoy, I mean, as fanfiction-y as it seems to be sometimes, because, like, everybody sims for Mara, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I bet if they would have had more time to work on it, they wouldn't have, like, relied so much on Mara Soft being a Mary Sue, an infallible Mary Sue who gets, who is all-powerful, all-knowing, all blah, 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 blah. I am the greatest, worship me. Okay, this one's not rotating. Keep forgetting which one of these islands rotates or not. I think it's just the ones that have the lanterns on them. But yeah. Like, it's the little things like that where it's like, I think about it and it's like, man, it would be cool. It would have been so much cooler if we didn't have to waste time on that. Or like, and I know that's kind of the cope about a lot of the stuff that's going on now, is because it's like, well, Renegades won't have to worry about the system changes, but yet a lot of the system changes we're currently dealing with are purely from the fact that nobody really liked Edge of Fate. Screw you, Phalanx. It's just my brain thinking about how little we get stuff anyways as is in this game. How the game would have felt if we didn't have to deal with these issues. It's just how I think. And I know it's a me thing. There it is. And yeah. So that's one of my hopes going into Renegades, is that because we don't have to waste quote-unquote dev time for redoing the systems that the game already has, they're kind of just already baked in. So that's one of the things I'm hoping for. Also, it's like common knowledge that Edge of Fate was being worked on while Final Shape was being worked on, so a lot of what Edge of Fate stuff suffers from is like the dev load on Final Shape being what it was, and going from a campaign and a story like Final Shape to, Edge of Fate didn't really land, because one, knowing what Edge of Fate was while you're playing Final Shape makes you know that this isn't the end of Destiny, whereas if you didn't know what Edge of Fate was going to be going into Edge of Fate, and that Destiny 2 wasn't going to continue, it would have been more impactful of a storytelling moment to not have to worry about that. As weird as it is, and I know it's like, well, it's a live service game, they need to continue pushing the point to let people, understand, like, hey, the game's not dead, this is just what's going down. I get that, I understand that, that's just, from somebody who's done, several creative writing projects, as it were, it's one of those things you constantly got to think about, is like, when you're ending something, all ends are beginnings is definitely a phrase that you want to use, but you want to use that in the sense of, like, knowing that the end of a major story point or telling point of your story is answering the questions that are related to that storytelling point, versus like leading up into more questions that don't satisfy the answer of where you were at with your story at the given moment of time. So like an example would be right, so we need to do plague, servants. Man, that's so many we need to do. We need to do more patrols too yet. Who has a... Does it collect things? We'll see what Miss Collectathon has here for me.
Halo, we've been in the field so long we're running low on resources. I'll bet any scorn you come across will have what we need.
Scorn lurkers. Oh, man, that's ace. That's not fun. Alright, well, I gotta go kill a bunch of Scorn. Shield boys. There's place, thank you. Oh, yeah. It's the hard part about, like, ending a series and making a series feel like it has a good ending. But then knowing you still need the series to continue beyond. And I don't know of a good way of doing it. Because most of my creative writing projects were, like, very self-contained story notions, or just, like, basically brain rotting a D&D campaign idea together that's never really going to take off anywhere because the people I play D&D with don't ever have the time to do it. But there are some fun ideas you can do with that, you know, going into thinking about, like, we're dealing with something that's been in the background of Destiny 2 forever, and when we've done that in the past, it's like we finally got to learn about Savathun, the other of Oryx's siblings, and learn about the Hive Pantheon in a way that we hadn't before. You know, like Witch Queen, and then, like, in Final Shape, or leading up to Final Shape, and then also... Brother, I need lurkers. I need one more lurker. Okay, all those other guys you can kill over there. There we go. I'll leave you be. Oh, we need another... Let's go this way. Oh, missed. Oh well. But yeah, that's one of those things where it's like I don't envy the writing staff of Bungie to make that feel good. Especially when, like, Final Shape was a jump-off point for so many different Guardians and players of Destiny. Because their character story was essentially over. Like... It felt like we were going into a new season.
One of our camps last night. No survivors. Left none of them.
So we gotta do possession supplies from the Taken. I can do that. Any Taken over here? No, they're not moving against each other. Alright. Miggy debuggy. Fine, you get to die then. Oh, that was nice. That's kind of the thing about a lot of, like, you know, gameplay and continuous story stuff, where it's like, how do you make it end? And that's why you see so many, like, Western media just do, like, a reboot. You know, like, you talk about manga having a definitive ending, but yet one of the most popular mangas in the existence of manga is basically just... things like One Piece, where it's like that series has gone on forever without an end. Need one more. Excuse me. Get me off my scooter, please.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
I bet the Scorn are hoarding some interesting stuff.
So what do we got to kill Scorn-wise?
Whatever you can get your hands on.
Scorn stalkers. Of course it's stalkers. Really? You're not gonna give me any stalkers to kill? There's a chieftain. Hello, chieftain. Not a stalker. Not a stalker. Not a stalker. There's a stalker. There's a wraith. There's another stalker. Or was that a raider? I couldn't tell. I also can't wait for like the hood UI changes to like show. Oh, yeah, this will give stalker kills. I think I need another.
All channels be advised. The Scorn are about to take another swing at the core.
I think I can basically solo this, yeah? Field work is done. Nice, sweet, we got a random to join us. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. What would, I mean, I guess the next question is, like, well, what would be some of the expansion ideas you'd want to see or collabs? I think it'd be cool to do more, like, in-home IPs that Bungie has versus doing, just a bunch of, like, random collabs. Like, I think it'd be cool to do, like, like a Myth one, or a Marathon one, or an Oni one. And some of their old IPs would be fun to see. Call me old-fashioned. Call me what you will. Some say I might even be over the hill. But it is a hope I have. Because it would be one of those things where it's like, it would be cool to see like a bunch of like Myth the Fallen Lords gear in this game. I mean, we already kind of had Marathon stuff with the 30th anniversary, so I don't foresee us getting that again. But it would be cool. It would be very cool, in my opinion. Oh, and also, if you didn't know, that's how you make this go to a heroic public event. Is you shoot those taken blights after they spawn in from the I overshot that grenade like a moron. Yeah, I mean, I'm also just like a sucker for Lord of the Rings, so as much as I am against it, it would be cool to see a Lord of the Rings collab. Because it's Lord of the Rings. You know, I'd be foolish to not be for that. Being a fan of that series like I am. But there are definitely some that I wouldn't want to see. Like, as cool as 40k would be, I don't want to see 40k. Because I feel like that one would be one of the ones where it's like, you'd get a lot of people that would, like, be the most insufferable about it. And not insufferable in, like, a bad way or a good way, but just in general, just being absolute troglodytes about Games Workshop and all that. Now, let's see here. So next we got to do... I think we just got to do Blind Well. So let's head that way. I'm a sucker for classic Bungie IP, so I think it'd be cool to see some of those. It would also be cool to have... what other property would do well? I mean, I don't want to see Marvel, because, like, Marvel and Magic has been, like, a bane of my existence, it feels like. Another one would be... I mean, Magic the Gathering, like the Planeswalker stuff, would be kind of cool to see. I think that'd be a fun collab. But I feel like with how Magic the Gathering is going currently, it's one of those things where it's like all Magic the Gathering is right now is just oh sweet, it's tier 3. Let's go. All Magic the Gathering is just collabs. It doesn't feel like there's any new IP being introduced, and that is a little disheartening. It would be cool to see something new IP-wise from them. But I mean, if you're gonna choose anything to like mesh in with Destiny, I feel like Magic's a good fit. But then it's like, well, you got all the other stuff. Yeah, just keep it be the Planeswalkers, man. Keep it simple, stupid. What's another one? There are some, like, incredibly dumb ones I wouldn't want to see. Like, Pokemon, I think, would be a terrible one for here. Monster Hunter would be funny because Lamau Monster Hunter, of course, but... I don't think I'm gonna get the Plague Breaker done. Surrender Plague Merges. Give me a Harmony Orb, thank you. This is where the fun begins. Ah, I want immune. F. Which way are we going? Up here. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Would also be a really dumb one. Magic just feels like it belongs more than, like, OG Magic, not like the collab stuff that we have right now. Where's the ball? Ball. Beep beep. Oh, fast. I'm at 2. Oh boy. It takes so mind-numbingly long to get this one done. Ack! Can you basically do like what, 4 or 5 of these to get there? Gave it to him. F. Some tags on him. So yep, that's 3. I'm also a fan of... Alright, brother. There's a specific rule against people like you. So we're gonna go ahead and do... Possible Vanivator, Monitoring? Need to get rid of this. Of course, it's not going to let me do it here. I'll have to do it in my chat then. I want to go... Dan... Fleet... There we go. Yeah, I don't tolerate no botters in my chat, people. I don't do that. I'm really tired of seeing it too, by the way, because it's one of those things where it's like, there is no need for it. Wait, everyone is insistent on being here? Like, oh, we should, Alright, which one are we teaming up on first, big guy? Ouch. I got my backside destroyed. It's alright. Did that not give me the harmony? Okay. Good thing.
Heads up, power surge.
Throw it to me. There we go. There's one done. See, this would be an activity I could see them bringing into the portal as like a 6-player arena ops. It's got its own loot table that's pretty good. It's got its own gear that's pretty good. I think you could do it. But yeah. It also is a huge mood killer too when people come into your chat and like just purposely try to promote their freaking bot stuff. Like, oh, go do this for botting your views. It's like, as cool as it would be, I kind of don't care. Alright, so we're 50% with only 4 of the Plague Bears defeated. Yeah, that challenge takes so long. I do not like that challenge whatsoever. And the fact, too, that it's also, like, possible Bane Invader is, like, really? Get out of my chat. I don't care for you. I don't care if you're, like, some underpaid dude from, like, Venezuela. I don't tolerate that here. I get hostile. I'm not gonna lie. I get downright mean about that stuff, man. And I think with good reason, because it's like, it just ruins the experience for everyone here. You know, it's like, screw you, dude. You're just trying to peddle your stupid chat bot, whatever, to get viewers. And it's like, yeah, I could do that, but then it's like, the whole point of trying to be a hobby streamer goes out the window when I'm just trying to bot views, you know? Anthem up. There he is. Hope that counted as one. It did. Yay! We're a third of the way there. Uh-oh. touched by the icky. I don't remember spending so much time in this activity back in the day. Oh, cool. Whee! Sure hope that counted. It did! Nice, we're almost halfway there. Storm grenades are just really, really good. I'd rather a solar grenade on prismatic, but it's like I totally get why they did healing grenade. That's alright, so that is something I do kind of hope they update at some point, is like what prismatic has to offer. Because I feel like that would be a good change, a good way to kind of like increase the feel of the game. Another Omega Charge.
Energy spike at the primary power well.
Yeah, like, another super I would like to see, as funny as it would be to do anything but Well Radiance for Prismatic Solar, I would personally love to see them do Dawnblade, because I think Dawnblade on Prismatic would be a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of... That's fun. I think there's a lot of combinations there that could be really, really silly to do with, like, Dawnblade, with using, like, a Bleak Watcher turret. And just freezing everything. The other thing I would want to see... I mean, more supers would be nice in general for the other subclasses, more aspects. Like, getting the other two missing supers for Stasis and Strand, getting the other super missing for... I think it's Arc on Warlock, right? I want to say it's
Eyes
Arc.
up. This is gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's Warlock, it's Arc. Goodness. What would I do for supers? I think it'd be really cool to have one that's just like a giant Duskfield grenade that Warlock casts, where it's like they're the center of it. I think that'd be fun. I think having one where it's like a giant like arc rift that amplifies and jolts targets as they pass through it, like the whole, you know, the Vex cube that they're introducing in Renegades. I think that'd be kind of cool to have as a as an arc super, where it's just you call down that arc dome. I think it'd also be cool, like Strand having one where it's more of a wall that you put up, where it's like basically a makes all your bullets unravel and stuff like that. Like really focus into like the debuff and buff aspect of the class. I think would be really, really cool. I would like to see... What else would I like to see? There's a few things I would like to see, admittedly. Ouch! Because I feel like we get enough damage supers on Warlock that we can afford more support ones. So like a giant just field grenade that you throw out. I mean like giant. It's basically like 4 of the radiuses of like the Transcendent grenade. And it just slows, and when you walk through it you get frost armor. Pretty neat, not gonna lie. I'm just a sucker for that, because I mean, ooh. How close are we? We need 6 more. Thanks, Shax. For Arc, I like the idea of like the cage. I think the cage would be a fun addition. I think having the ability to do, like a huge woven field generator, where it's like you pass through it, you can get woven mail. When enemies pass through it, they get severed or suspended, or makes it so that kills inside, you know, shot through it, suspend. Really lean into that part of like, you know, you are supporting. You're supporting your team, right? And that's the thing that's the most important. Is as a Warlock, you are the team support. You are the team's soccer mom that gives everybody the granola bars and Capri Suns after the soccer game, you know? You're not there to be the best. You're there to make sure everybody can be their best. And I think it'd be cool to kind of have stuff that leans into that class identity a bit more for Warlocks. So having more supers that can do that, I think would be a great touch. We need 5 more. I don't think we're getting them. Fine, I'll use my suit. How did I not pick up the Harmony Ball? I walked right on top of it.
Primary well could take another boost.
I think we're just a little too strong. Oh yeah. We still need 5 more. I might call it here for that at least. We'll do some other stuff. Find the return. For a while there, that was like the only solar sword I could get. Alright. See here, let's go to our next destination, shall we? Let's go to the Cosmodrome. I gotta remember, you gotta press the down arrow to do it now. Go do the quests from Shahan if we haven't yet. Yeah. Some other stuff to talk about here. Oh, I got into building more models recently. Specifically the Fantasy 30 MF. Stuff from, I want to say it's Bandai Namco. They're like 30-minute fantasy stuff. It's actually kind of cool. I mean, it is just as the box says.
Status.
So there's only so much you can like glean. Oh, I already did these week. Uh-oh. Won't you just did these then? Super
Right.
kinetic weapon. Some easy peasy stuff. Do I have a kinetic weapon on? I do. Alright, so we need to kill Fallen, and we need to do super and melee kills. Okay. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. I just kind of wish it didn't do the weekly stuff for here. I would have saved them. Oh well. I'm gonna go to the trippy. I'm so used to pressing space to dismount things. Wink. Hip. Donk. Where do you think you're going, little guy? Oop. I gotta be close, right? Oh, 3 more. That's cake. Just need see 3 more fallen. It's a captain. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to hit that dude from all the way over there? Okay, fine, whatever. Go. Fallen from grace. Now it's just what? Super kills and super kills and melee kills. Let's go up over here then. So yeah, they're pretty fun builds. They're also really easy to do. They're also incredibly modular, so if you like customizing and kit bashing, it's pretty great for that because you're kind of incentivized to do it. Because there's like different upgrade kits, there's different you know, different jobs you can give them. You can like even like mix and match armor. I think they started with the military. I think it's military because it's like fantasy and military. Because there's ones that look more like your traditional gunplas. There's more that look more like your traditional. I guess your anime mecha. And then there's some where it's like they call them 3MS, which is like your cutesy girl model stuff, which is like cool if you like that. I mean, more power to you. But that's not why I got it. You see your face. I think we need... Okay, now we just need the super kills. Should be really easy to get. Just need their super up. Need a gaggle of goons. Oh, that's all of them here. Alright, that's all of them here. Okay, let's do... We can go back to Dreaming City and finish that off later. We need to get rid of that Corsair down quest. So let's go to our next place where we can do bounties. That would be... Is it Europa? I think Europa has something we can do. It would be cool if they made it where, like, you could turn on the difficulty for destinations to have it drop random gear associated with the portal. That'd be kind of cool, but not gonna happen. I think a lot of it also, too, just kind of stems from the fact it's like... The game itself has so much other things it needs to worry about right now, whereas there's nothing really worth going back to the old stuff to add stuff to it right now. Where it's like that's more content that they can add in later into the new systems.
Perhaps I have an answer.
What do you got for me? Precision kills, warrior defeated, lost sectors and patrols. Precision, vex, sword, chests. Okay.
Next to become kill of kills.
Okay, so we need sword kills.
Not Verix. Not.
We need precision kills. Need to go to Stereindus. This was another location I spent a lot of time because I do love the Braytech aesthetic. Dreaming City aesthetic is still one of my favorites. I think if I had to pick a top three, it's like Dreaming City, Vex, like specifically Vex from like Volta Glass, that like Venus looking stuff, and then things like that. My quest again. Vex, I need to get Fallen Precision kills. keep forgetting to have anti-barrier scout on. Can a brother get some ammo, please? Thunderstroke. Got a gamer on our hands here. Oh, I need a loot chest, don't I? Yeah, I do. Let's run this lost sector real quick. And then we'll continue yapping. But no, going back a subject, the models from there, I mean, besides the fact that it tickles that, like, Bionicle fan part of my brain, where it's like a build-your-own kind of action figure thing, one of the things I do wish, though, that they did was that they made it where, they sold, like, just the kits to, like, custom make the characters versus just, like, having to buy the full model. Then just kind of having parts that just linger in anguish would be nice. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really cool. How am I doing on precision? Not well. It's really cool that we have something like that, but that's, like, one of the things that, like, my Bionicle part of my brain just, like, it's, like, activated, because it's like, oh, I can mock, I can do things with this. And to me, that's really cool. The only letdown I've had so far with them is that they're bigger, which isn't a bad thing per se, but, like, they're bigger than the, they're bigger than, the 30MF are bigger than the, they're bigger than the 30mm. So, like, if you want to, like, take the arms off of, like, a 30mm and put it on the 30MF, you're kind of going to have a bad time because they're going to look really, really small. So you're not going to be able to, like, cross kit bash in that way. Even though there's some really, really cool pieces involved with both of them. Boink. Can you lower your arm, please? Thank you. How are we looking? 2 more headshots. I can do that. One more headshot. So yeah, the kit bashing potential, I mean, if I had more of the gear to do it, it would be one thing, but I don't. Not yet. I should probably go check my mail after I'm done streaming. But yeah, that's one of the things about it where it's like, to me, some of the cool factor of this stuff is not so much limited as much as it is just like, got a sword. It's like, it would be sick to see more, like, the ability to do more customs. I need 5 in total? Okay. Oh, got one of these done. Right, dust. Hey, and an engram. How much you want to bet it's a sparrow? Oh, it's an emote. I'm okay with that. Alright. Let's go change my loadout around. What do I need next? Chest and Vex kills. Okay. So we can go back to more Jared-centric loadout here. Dude, I like using Dragon's Breath. Okay, hero always peace. Alright, let's go back out to Australian Abyss. Australian Abyss? No, Asterian. There it is. The one thing that is kind of neat too is like I started reading up on the story more so than just like what's been posted, but like actually getting the boxes and things like that. And it's actually kind of cool how it's like they're not necessarily enemy like bad guys per se. It's just like one is being used as like slave forces while the other is more at their own discretion, and they're starting to expand into the world more with like having other factions popping up like the Dragon, where it's like the Dragonkin kind of race, and that's kind of cool. I really am excited to see like the full cross hit bashing capabilities of the two, because that's one of the things that's always like kind of fascinated me about it, is because how far are they going to go with like different things? Like something that would be cool to see too is if they do the oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Other fantasy races like orcs, seeing how they would look like as the mechanical, or the, what do they call them? Maximilia? I want to say it's Maximilia. I think that's the name of the specific robots. I think it'd be cool to see that. I'm also very curious about like the other elements, because I know right now there's ground, fire, water, air, and lightning. I want to know if they're going to be doing more elements in terms of like light or shadow or, you know, stuff like that, because that also just tickles the bionicle part of my brain. Okay, so one lost sector did like 33%. What's another thing? But yeah, I got the Holy Knight from Liber, like the Liber Holy Knight. Then I also did the, I did the Rosen Assassin. And I got the Sorcerer, or sorry, the Wizard on the way, and then the Sorcerer upgrade kit for it. And one of the things I want to do is switch out the chassis with the Sorcerer, Wizard, and the Holy Knight, and kind of give the Knight that darker armor and see how that looks like underneath. I know you can paint, and I know you can like do more customization in that sort of sense too, but I don't have any paints yet, nor do I have a really good space to paint them on besides like my kitchen table, which isn't a bad thing, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I would rather not have my kitchen table taken up by all this stuff in my limited space that I have available for model making, because like I've been mostly doing the model making on my desk versus like on anything specific, you know. Like I already got like some stuff on there for model making. Like I got the some Warhammer minis, which don't sit there and be like, oh, he's got Warhammer minis, but yeah, he doesn't want to see Warhammer in Destiny. It's no, it's a little bit more than that. It's also one of those things too where it's like, well, it would be cool. That count as a chest for the quest? It does not. That's a little disappointing. Let's see here, is there any... I guess we could do that. Kill them all thing. Further. And it is all the way back here. Oh, overshot.
This place is unsafe for Varix.
Ability funnel blows. Easy peasy.
Hostile creatures stalk us through the snow. Kill them, and you will be rewarded.
Did I find this exo before? I think I have, yeah. We're almost done with this daily. How are we looking? We're getting there. Still need one more chest, though. Oh. Oh, there's a chest up there. Go grab that real quick. It's on the other
Getting a
side.
read on Vex activity in the area. Let's go see if stasis can stop them in their tracks.
Press the arm button. I meant to do shift, not tab there. Oh well. Because my pinky was just still over tab. Let's go help the gamer. Drop caps. But yeah, another thing I was talking about too is like how I want the weapons and armor to be stat sticks along with like that new artifact. I do know how that kind of limits the gameplay, but I feel like if you do it right, you're not going to have to worry about it limiting gameplay so much as you just can introduce a new artifact every season. So it's like you could do at launch have 3 where it's like your basic prismatic one that's themed around what you're dealing with, and then one that is the like you know, like a neutral one to the subclass and like the classes. I think that'd be a cool way to do it. Hello, Disintegrator. Goodbye, Disintegrator. So yeah, have it where it's like an artifact will tie into one specific subclass, but then you have like your cross ones where it's like it's just the element itself, not specifically related to the class, to kind of help like tie down. And it's like if you even want to go further with class identity stuff, you can do the different ones where it's like one that focuses on debuffs, one that focuses on support, one that focuses on protecting, one that focuses on like killing or, you know, doing class ability junk. Oh dear. Fucking stupid chicken. I love when I step on plates and I have to get, like, knocked off of them by a frickin' bird. I do also know, too, that it is a little naive to think that Bungie will do something like that, especially with their current, like, system in place, an idea in place of, like, what is class identity? Like, how do you not know that Warlocks are supposed to be support? How do you not know that Titans are supposed to be tanks? How do you not know? And it's in part because everybody kind of, like, has the ability to play whatever way they want to. Like, I really do enjoy being a Warlock, because I like the power fantasy of everything in the kitchen sink being thrown at enemies. I really like the idea of relying on my arcane abilities more so than my ability to slay out and clear out, with guns. It's like, look at my loadout currently. Most of it, if not all of it, revolves around the identity of I make a lot of things go flying out of my character's pockets, and then I throw a lot of different abilities out there to help, like, debuff and jolt and etc. different things. Like, look at how many, like, fire sprites I got out there right now. Look at how many orbs of power I got. Look at all the different, like, strand blast projectiles. Look at how often I can, like, jolt targets with my grenades. That kind of stuff. That's the thing about it, where it's like, that to me is like the truest essence of, like, what is class identity. Is, what do you really mean? Like, how do you, like, I guess it's kind of naive to sit there and be like, well, how would you? And it's like, well, you gotta kind of bring it back. I mean, I know the idea would be to kind of let everybody do their own thing, and I understand that. But I think it's important to also have it where there are defined rules in the game that people have to play by and follow by, so that way then they're not just, you're not locked into an instance where it's like every class is essentially the same, just with different supers. You need to kind of still have that different identity and spirit of identity available to, your different systems. And so part of it for me kind of boils down to, like, what do I feel like the game needs more than what I feel like the game should have, and vice versa. And I feel like one of those things would be, just in pure essence, is you kind of got to let people do their things. I know it feels bad, because then it's like, well, if I'm a hunter, all I can do is hunter stuff. It's like, well, yeah, that's the reason why you have multiple different, I have to put on a shotgun to deal with this thing. There we go, thank you, teammate. I think I'm actually going to put one on right now. My Traxinus. Oh, we didn't actually kill that guy? Okay. Well. That's a HVT, baby. There's also would be, like, cool to kind of have subclass identity be, or like elemental identity being part of that. Like solar, as much as I would hate it not being DPS, I can see that one being the one that's like dictated into like doing support more so than damage. And like I can see what's the other word I'm looking for? I really wish the snow wasn't up. I could actually see where I gotta go. Stuff like that would be cool. But then it's like, well, if you want to do DPS and you don't like the subclass arc, you're locked into doing just arc. And it's like, yeah, that feels terrible. So it's like, how do you go about balancing that out amongst everything else is the biggest question. You know, how do you answer that all? It's like, I don't know. But it's like, I would tell you how I would do it. I think all that leaves now is just precision kills on the warrior, right? I reckon so. Let's do that real quick. Shall we? So we gotta go. We go for that again. It is the warrior. Customize. We want to do expert. I think matchmaking off is on expert. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll need an overload weapon on, a barrier weapon on, and another precision headshot weapon. Wow, that is a garbage roll of that. We'll do finalities auger. Why not do the get everything done loadout? Yeah, I think that would be the next best thing you could do is kind of like balance out how you would specifically go in to make every subclass kind of feel special in its own way is by leaning into like what their base identity is and then going forward from there. But I feel like a lot of it though would come off as biased because, you know, your guy right here is a fiend of wanting how many headshots am I at? 18%. Okay. I have to slow our roll here on this, but that's one of the things too where it's like a matter of balance is like how do you achieve that without, you know, letting people kind of do whatever they want. And I feel like that's one of the downfalls of letting people do what they want is that the game makes it more just done real quick. How am I looking? 30%, that ain't bad. Oh boy, I really do wish I had a better way to get headshots. Did they kill off that Dreg already? I guess they did. Oh, there he is. Take that. How am I looking? 58%. Oh. Don't know how that didn't count as a headshot, but alright, whatever. if you're wondering why I'm doing this here versus in the portal, is I don't think the portal one counts for this. Let's see, how are we looking? 60%? Okay. I think we'll have to slow a roll in here to get more. Let me think. The other thing, too, is part of the whole idea of, like, going in and, like, making it so that loot is technically the pinnacle, is because in an MMO, you grind for your stat stick and then you worry about, like, getting the better loot, traditionally. So if your stat sticks essentially revolve around one thing in particular. Another headshot down. Okay, just don't let me be able to get a melee kill off, that's fine. Man, the timer is so brutal. But yeah, so we need... We're getting close on that. What else? Some of the other stuff, too, in thinking of it, is like... Your stat sticks matter in an MMO, because they're essentially the thing that you can, like, always get changed around if need be. So having those systems in place where you can have something that's always consistent, that you can grind, not have to worry about, like, getting locked out of because RNG feels good. But if you don't have that something where you can't... I'm sorry, who are you? You know, that's kind of the crux of the whole issue, is, like, how do you go around balancing that all? Making it feel good versus not making it feel good at all. Oh dear. Ah, it's bull. Another minute worth of waiting. No big deal. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like you look at it and you can, like, see how much of it actually would matter in the sense of gameplay balance. Is like, realistically, the loot shouldn't dictate how well your builds work. It should be your stat sticks. The loot should just be a bonus to what your build does without being the main focus point of it. Like exotics, for example. Exotics right now are the crux of every build that you do. If you want a build that slings out abilities like nobody's business, you kind of need an exotic that lets you do that. Whether it's something like Sunbracers, or whether it's something like Heart of Inmost Light, or in my case, for example, it's this Inmost Light Starfire build, because it just allows me to throw grenades like nobody's business. And it's like I'm technically not even using it to its full potential, because I'm not even using it in the sense of, like, properly going in. Oh, you stink. Get out so I can hit you. Another precision kill. How much more of these? Alright, just a handful more. Stuff like that. So the idea that I have behind, like, master crafting armor is that it is essentially the pinnacle loot chase, and you can't make it, you can only find it. Whereas, and it doesn't really do anything inherently specific to your builds. It just makes it so that you can, like, build craft more specifically better and have more 200 stats. Whereas, like, having more 200 stats isn't necessarily something you need on every build. But if you want to maximize your neutral game, it's something that allows you to do that. Like, you know, running double special weapon, in my opinion, should be a, something you build into versus... Oh, hello. Hold that thought. versus something that you're just able to do off the rip unless you get like a mythic weapon. Whereas like to me, that's another thing that you can't get by crafting is you can't craft mythic weapons. They drop and are very rare, but they're the best of the best roll that you can get for that specific weapon, what it's catered to and everything else. So to me, that's how you balance it, you know, as you build into the specific niches that players want in their game. Like, what kind of grind are they looking for? Are they looking for a, you know, a more esoteric, like, specific build, or like a very smartly mixed build where it's like using the full exposure of Destiny Sandbox at your disposal? You know, things like that. And those are the kind of questions you gotta ask yourself, is like, what do you value most in a build? And like having that master crafted armor and weapon system would allow for a loot chase while not affecting the stat sticks on your gear. So that to me is one of the more important things about build crafting, is like wanting either to have the specific thing ready to go or a jack of all trades build. And it's like master working weapons should do more than just give stats. I feel like if you master work a piece of weaponry or get its catalyst done, it should build into your, you know, weapon stat. Which is why it's like I have the idea of like, well, it gives you bonus 45 weapons for every weapon you have master crafted, or, you know, masterworked in your inventory, or tangentially, your master crafted gear adds to that more so than anything else. You know, it's that, those are the questions you ask yourself, is like, how do you approach and balance that out in a way that is fitting to what you're trying to do for the game? And I feel like the answer to that is relatively simple. It's just a matter of leaning into those things and making them feel good for the player experience. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters most. If the players don't like the experience, they're not going to play your game. Which was evident, as we saw in the Edge of Fate, the final is the systems didn't feel good, so then players fell off, and then by the time the system felt good to play, well, yeah, the players came back, but they were still, you know, not looking forward to what the game had to offer in the sense that felt good. So,
Barracks.
get a battle
Phalanx
done.
is down.
Her soldiers will scatter, but there are other powerful elixni that will stand in
There's
your
another set of
path.
destination bounties done. The only other place we have left to go do is, what, Neptune? But yeah, I feel like that's one of the things where it's like, you kind of got a fine line to walk, because you've made a game that's for everybody, therefore it's not for anyone. And I know that's like the Helldivers 2 quote about gameplay making, is like, you don't make a game for everyone, you make a game for specific people. Whereas I believe a game like Destiny 2, you could easily make it for everyone. It's just one of those things where it's like the amount of effort it takes to put in to make it be that is probably more than Bungie wants to dedicate to the game right now while working on Marathon. But I think if you're to go in to do those systems, you gotta make some of those sacrifices to accommodate for them. Like, you gotta have the systems in place to let players make their choices and be able to play the game however they want. I feel like it is important to have leveling be not tied to endgame activities so much as it is available to everything. But I don't believe in handing out the best loot to players without having them have to dip their toes in what would be considered endgame PvP stuff or endgame PvE stuff, you know. Like, mastercrafted gear, I'd say the easiest content that would drop in would be like Grandmaster Nightfalls. And things like Trials of Osiris should also have their own slew of what is pinnacle gear, out of the mastercrafted system. Strand, Fleet Waves, Arc, Void. So I need Void on, too. Yeah, we should be fine. I don't have any Void weapons. Well, not on me, but But I think that's one of the things where it's like a matter of balancing. And it's like these are systems that we would want in place for like a Destiny 3, is that I do, as much as I like the idea of kind of just letting people always kind of doing what they want to do, you should let people play the game how they want to play, but still let them have that class identity. I also am a huge proponent of like letting people not have to play the things multiple times on their characters. Like, if I beat the campaign of my Warlock, it should be considered beaten for my Titan and Hunter. If I beat the game on my, if I beat it with one subclass, I beat it with all. The only stuff where that would be different is for, like, your end game activities, because part of getting mastercrafted gear is mastering the subject matter, mastering the raid, and so on and so forth. So for me, that's one of the things where it's like, well, obviously, I don't think that counts as... I don't know if it does or not. I have to change over to doing Renegades if I want to get this done. So it seems I'm not the only one here working on this. It's a little annoying. Probably not going to have anything spawned up in here that I can kill with Strand, right? Or do I need Strand on specifically to do this? I think I might need Strand on specifically to do it. Bites. So I don't think I got any... Let me double check. Rapidly defeated? Yeah, that's almost done. So, in the Vex Incursion Zone, using Strand. Okay. I think I might actually have to put on a Strand. Build here. Do I have a Strand Exoticon that I can use? I just throw it on another world. Do this. Call, Mind Spawn, Invocation. Go and Well, I feel sheepish. By sheepish, I mean pretty stupid, because that should have let me get up there. Well. Yeah, it is specifically with Strand on. Okay. No big deal. Get this thing quick. Well, that's just rude. How are we looking? Not good. Ate my grenade. I looked away too fast. Of course, of course, of course. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know if I got much else to say other than like what's already been said before, you know? It's like we're all kind of just in this like waiting limbo to see what they are going to do. My point still stands is like I do not want to regrind for content I already have in Destiny 2. I don't want to have to, like, the exotics I don't want to have to regrind for. I don't want to have to regrind for, like, weapons. I guess some of the things that would be the exception to the rule would be things like, well, one of those things specifically would be in the nature of, like, what should be already a given versus, like, what shouldn't be already a given. What would be some of the things where it's like, yeah, I expect this to be in the game already. Like, new weapons, I can see, like, that being something to regrind for. But some of the other stuff that would be returning that shouldn't need to be returning would be things like, you know, like, if I already have a crafted Mida, I shouldn't have to, like, when I go into Destiny 3, one of the first weapons I craft for is another Mida multi-tool, you know? Or, like, a mini tool. It should already be something that I have in my arsenal at my disposal already. I think that's important. I don't think anyone would necessarily be mad at the idea of, like, not having to regrind for specific weapons. I think everybody is in an okay position to, like, get new gear more so than just have the old gear again. Like, the only exceptions would be, like, raid gear, but I feel like that's because, like, raid gear would be master craftable versus just existing in its own bubble. So, like, yeah, if you get a Mastercrafted Fatebringer, you're like, yeah, you can eventually craft one, but if you get the Mastercrafted Fatebringer, you have the objectively better weapon for such a simpler cost. That's 4, 5. We need 3 more. Come back to me, my chillins. Two more. I forgot the sound that makes when you got Woven Mail on you. Oh! Oh, it's this! Okay. And just 2 more? Okay. There, we got 1 done. I haven't done one of these in forever. This would be another fun 6-man activity to bring back into the game. Excuse me, I'm gonna switch back over to Prismatic now. You, and then... I find that incredibly cheap. Yeah, this is a very fun activity, and I wish we got more of it. I also understand why we didn't, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, this was a lot of fun. I wish we got to do it more. Need a Corinium. May I have a Corinium, please? What? Oh, a freaking interceptor, man. That's AIDS. Oh, well. Gonna rip. Thank you. I know, like, saying AIDS is probably not, like, the best thing to say. Bada bing, bada boom. Should be a guaranteed exotic drop still, right? Hey. Oh. It's not a bad roll, honestly. But I think I got a better one in my vault. Pretty sure I do. But yeah, other than that, gonna finish off. Let's see here, I need to do more Vex kills, right? Is that where I'm at? I need arc damage and void damage. I need terminal overload. We'll do another one of these, then we'll probably call it. Oh, we'll do one of these and then call it, I think. 2 hours of this game, I think, is more than enough. But I mean, this is kind of what you want to do for prep, is you want to go through each of the destinations, do their weekly and daily bounties to get a good stockpile. Like, this isn't probably enough to get too crazy far. But I mean, it's definitely going to be something that'll help you out when you get to, reinforcements deleted. You know what I could do? That's the wrong one. Just some third iteration. I was gonna say that should be enough to do both of those, huh? Do 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 do. And perish. Well, I'm getting flinched. Where's the other one that's shooting at me? That, please. Thank you. of one of those things, too, where it's like there's not really a good answer to the question of, like, what does a Destiny 3 need that Destiny 2 couldn't do? And there's a lot of answers to that in the sense of, like, there's no good way to answer it besides just, like, without seeing what they could do and what they could change. Because there is still a good amount of game that in this game yet that is worth the investment of Destiny 2. There is a lot of content here. It's just none of that. All that content is brought up into this future system. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's kind of hard to justify going back to the old content when the old content doesn't give you anything that the new system has. It's like there is no... Like, there's no reason to go do Neomuna stuff, because Neomuna stuff doesn't give you armor that is up to standard of today, as far as, like, set gear bonuses and stuff like that. So it's like, obviously, the question and answers then are bring stuff up to this new system. Where it's like, yeah, you can bring up stuff to this new system, but part of the whole thing that makes this system work in a way that is satisfying would be then for them also to then go and update things accordingly. And I don't know if they'd want to spend all that time going back to this old content with how much manpower they have at their disposal to get that stuff done. So that's the biggest question, is like, how much are you willing to go? How far are you willing to, you know, usher in this new system without actually updating old stuff? And in order to update the old stuff, it's like, how much manpower do you need to get away from to do so for these things where it's not detrimental in a more wider sense of, you know, just being pushed to the brink of what the game can offer. I think those are important questions to ask. I'm out of my, kill him real quick gun. Got him down in cold blood, didn't you? Stupid chicken. I also know... I also know why a lot of people didn't like Nimbus. They felt very tone deaf. Yeah, you know, like they lacked a lot of understanding of like their current situation, and like, yeah, they're backed up with one of the most powerful beings in existence. We've slain gods, so it's like there's not really much to worry about in that regard. But then it's also kind of like, well, their mentor just died, and they just inherited the entire responsibility of the city. Because we can't all be here, you know? But yeah, I think tone deaf is a really good way to describe Nimbus. It's like, hey, yeah, we just killed your father. High five. It's like, that's Kaido's father, dude. Anyways, I'm getting to spoilers. But I think with that, let's see how we're doing on our quests. I think I've done all I need to show you on, like, how to... Golly, that's going to take so long. what you need to worry about with final season prep stuff. You know, you do your weekly quests, you go to every destination, you do those, you do your weekly bounties, so on and so forth. So I think I'm gonna call it there. I appreciate y'all coming in and watching us play some Destiny 2. I hope you all have a great day. I hope this helped you kind of like understand what you got to do for season prep. We will be playing Destiny 2 Renegades tomorrow. We'll be doing the campaign. I don't know if we'll do the whole thing. I'll try. No promises because I do have to work, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you all so much for stopping in. This has been the Savage Ed, and I hope you all have a great evening. Take care. Peace.